الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وآله وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي. اللهم ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل صلاة كاملة وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا ومولانا محمد الذي تنحل به العقد وتنفرج به الكرب وتقطع به الهوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتيم ويستسقى الغمام بوجهه الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه في كل لمحة ونفس بعدد كل معلوم لك. اللهم في هذه اليوم المبارك فرج عنا وعن إخواننا في فلسطين وفي غزة خاصة. اللهم نفس كربنا وكربهم وثبت أقدامنا وأقدامهم والطف بنا وبهم يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين. وصلى الله تعالى على رسول خير خلق محمد وآله وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. Okay. So we had started looking at this last point, the mystic's intimate association with the eternal, which gives him a sense of the unreality of serial time. Does not mean a complete break with serial time. We looked at this last time in detail, and what we said was basically that why should we treat as why should we say that what the mystic sees is through his eternal, his focal point in his intimate association with the eternal is the unreality of sin. Rather, we should say that what he sees is the real reality of serial time and anything else, because he sees everything in our world in its proper context for the first time, maybe. So that was our basic point in the last session. So the mystic state, I'm assuming that he's using it as a sense of hal, what Sufia call hal, in respect of its uniqueness, remain in some way related to common experience. Well, in some way. So the mystic state in respect of its uniqueness remains some way related to common experience. Common experience meaning our day-to-day experience. And we looked at that as well. And that seems obvious. I mean, this experience the mystic is having with is an earthly experience, in the sense that it is from the earth that he is connected to that reality. So in that sense, it is transcendence from within, if we want to use Habermas's terminology. So it is a transcendence from within. So that seems obvious. But in what way he is, I'm sure he means more than that, and we'll see that in a minute. Now, this is clear from the fact that the mystic state soon fades away, like its intensity fades away, though it leaves this sense of authority. I don't know what he means by authority after it passed away. With Hall, so he's talking about Hall, the way that's what he means by state, the way you find yourself in this world. And there's my favorite German word, which Befindlichkeit. Befindlichkeit or Befindlichkeit. That I think Lech is more authentic, at least based on what one of my German teachers said to me. But Befindlichkeit, how you find yourself in this world, this is hard. And the intensity and the effect of this experience goes up and down, I guess. I think the part of this becomes permanent part of your being. So that's more stable. But the experience itself, feeling, and the anwar which surrounds a person because he or she is connected to otherworldly realm, that obviously can't be sustained in that way. For a long period of time. So you have to go back to that. You have to keep going back to that, whatever you were doing, to revive that sort of experience in all its intensity and all its anwar. And obviously it goes without saying that different people have different levels in all this. It depends on your purity of your heart and how much effort you put and attention. So it's like any other thing, so if I spend a lot of time reading and writing, I will improve in that. But that's not going to give me spiritual experience as such. I have to work on my spiritual experience to get better on that. So it depends on how much you work and how, and your intention, and you need teachers in that too. And you need to maintain that, how much. So that, in that sense, different people have different levels of experience, and just because you are good at spiritual experience doesn't mean you will be better at writing. So different. So these are different aspects of your life. They all need. Nothing is automatic in that sense. And if you want to transfer this spiritual experience to affect other part of your life, you have to actually do work. There's nothing automatic as such. Okay, so where were we? Let's go back to the text and come back. So saying the mystic state, the mystic state soon fades away, though it leaves deep sense of authority. Affect. After it passed away, some of it becomes part of your being. But it soon fades away, that intensity and that experience. You have to come back to that in order to get. And that's, clear in the experiences of Sahaba Ikram Ridwanullah Ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, because some of them asked the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that. So some of the Sahabas, the companions of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, asked him that when we are with you, we are in an what obviously I'm using my own words, so I have to be careful here. I'm not translating the hadith. What Hazrat Hanzala radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I think, and the hadith is in Sahih Muslim and other books, in Tirmizi as well, I think. It's like when Ya Rasulullah, when we are with you, it is as if we see the hellfire, we see the paradise. We are in a totally different world and in a totally different state or hal. And hadith says, part of hadith says, it's Hazrat Hanzala radiallahu ta'ala says, قلت يا رسول الله نكون عندك تذكرنا بالنار والجنة حتى كأن رأي عين, as if we are seeing them with our. But فإذا خرجنا من عندك, when we go back to our houses and our wives and our kids and our day-to-day life, Hazrat Hanzala said, Nasina Kasiran, that we don't have that state. That feeling, that intensity, that concentration, where we can experience the other world as if we are seeing it with our own eyes. And the Prophet ﷺ said to him, that's how it is in our three. What it means, again, I'm not using Prophet ﷺ's words here, but life is like that. You can't live with that sort of intensity all the time, because you're living in this world. You have your worldly duties as well, you have to. But what the Prophet ﷺ's injunction implied, that you have to go back to sort of get your fuel. This is a fuel, as Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, for example, says. He used to sit after Fajr until Ishraq or whenever, doing zikr, and his student Ibn Qayyim rahmatullah alayh says that he said that something like, this is my fuel. If I don't do this, I'll feel deprived of, as if you are without food or something. So the Prophet ﷺ said to Hazrat Hanzala radiallahu ta'ala anhu, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ, that's Prophet ﷺ's Mubarak words. If you لو تدومون على ما تكونون عندي وفي الذكر, if you perpetuate in that state, and that's sort of very difficult for most people, especially for non-prophets. If you perpetuate in this condition or state or hal, when you are with me. So that's sohbat, when you are with me. Sohbat of the Prophet obviously is the best of the sohbat, but also the sohbat of other awliya Allah has to a lesser degree same effect. Sohbat, like being with the Prophet, being with someone who is connected to that world, who actually lives in that world, and his life in this world is just a reflection of that real living. And he's permanently connected to this world. So when you sit with him, you get that feeling all the time and that state all the time. So the Prophet ﷺ, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ إِنْ لَوْ تَدُومُونَ عَلَى مَا تَكُونُونَ عِنْدِي. So when you are with me, and وَفِي الذِّكْرِ, الذِّكْر, remembrance. Because in remembrance you are actually, remembrance mean all things, not just zikr, what people call zikr, but Quran is obviously the best of zikr and hadith, and all what remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in general. So if you perpetuate in being with me and with zikr, and then you are in that state, or if you were to perpetuate in that state, actually Prophet self لَسَافَهَتْكُمْ الْمَلَائِكَةُ عَلَى فُرُشِكُمْ وَفِي طُرُقِكُمْ في طُرُقِكُمْ. Malaika, the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will shake hand with you in your beds and in your walkways, meaning that would be a totally different life. But obviously you can't always be with me, and you can't always at the level of remembrance which you are when you experience this, because you have to go back to your other earthly duties, which are duties as well, with your wives, with your families, with your economic activity. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, walakin ya Hanzala sa'atan wa sa'atan salasa marrat. Prophet said. So these are moments. These are moments when you are. So you have to come back to that. So it can't be sustained on a permanent basis for most people. So you have to go back to that. Anyway, let's go back to Iqbal now. So this is clear from the fact that the mystic state soon fades away. Not necessarily soon, but the intensity obviously is different when you are in remembrance and with the Prophet or his descendants, in any way, And awliya Allah and ulama are his real descendants as well. Though it leaves a deep sense of authority, not other effect after it has passed away, but you have to go back to that in order to refuel, so to speak. But the mystic and the Prophet, again, he keeps mixing up. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam doesn't fade away. He is always with his Rabb. He feeds him, and he is always in a spiritual state which is unimaginable for us. That's why always with Malaika and both the mystic and the Prophet. Allama Iqbal, obviously being not careful, and obviously he is talking to a Western educated audience, so he's speaking their language, but that shouldn't be the case anyway. Even if you're doing that, both the mystic and the Prophet, nothing to do with the Prophet. Prophet is told return to the normal levels of Prophet never as such goes back to the normal level. His normal experience is in the light of his permanent experience, but with this difference that the return of the Adasham may be fraught with infinite meaning for mankind. No, not just the Prophet. Obviously, the Prophet is qualitatively different, but his descendants also, their return has infinite meaning for mankind. Abu Bakr, Umar, and Ali, and Hassan and Hussein, and Zainul Abidin, and all Abu Ubaidah al-Jarrah, Aminu Hadhi al-Ummah, Khalid bin Walid. Their return had infinite meaning for mankind too, and their descendant Abdul Qadir Jilani, Nizamuddin Awliya, Hazrat Ali Jwari, uh, Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri, all awliya Allah, their return has deep meaning for the mankind. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue this inshallah.